District Attorney admits Malcolm X killers are innocent. Ladies and gentlemen, today's era is not like any other beforehand. This has been a long time coming. Now, with that said, if you don't know who, well, I'm pretty sure almost everyone knows who Malcolm X is. If you're an individual who doesn't know who Malcolm X is, then you're clearly living under a rock. And if that's the case, what am I gonna do for you is this. I'm going to link his biography in the description below, and you can read that and you can learn what type of man Malcolm X was. But in short, Malcolm was a man on a mission. And unfortunately, that mission got him killed. Now, his killers were two black brothers. Now, at the time, it was believed that either, well, there's a lot of conspiracies going around about his murder, right? There were some like me who believed that, well, not necessarily believed, but here I'm just giving you two scenarios. So people either believed that the brothers who killed him was sent from another individual who I forgot his name, although he was pretty important. He was a pretty important figure in Malcolm X's life. Unfortunately, I failed to remember his name, mainly because in my eyes he was kind of weak, so that's why I didn't really bother to remember him all that much, because, you know, I didn't really view him in the best of light. But the second, uh, the second theory was that his killers were hired, and this one I personally believed. The second one was that his killers were hired by a white governmental official or something along that nature, right? Something along that nature. Now, I must admit, I did not believe that they were innocent at the time. At the time I've been doing my research on Malcolm X, I did not believe that they were innocent. Not really. However, that should have been something that I should have suspect. Also, after all, you have the assassination of Martin Luther King and how it was a government operation alongside with a brother who, at the end of the day, famed money over loyalty, which again is very unfortunate. It's sad to see how many brothers and sisters would just sell themselves out and others just for a quick buck. They don't really have the mindset to strive for something better for you and the people around you. They rather have this fend for yourself mentality and just be stuck in a life where it amounts to basically suiting to your own personal needs. And that's basically it. A bunch of sellouts and bitches, honestly. Like, to be real, it's a bunch of sellouts and bitches. But with that said, I am going to read this, and I'm very curious to see what they're saying. And this is also very important for people to know about. So I advise that people advise that who is watching this, send this to someone you know, or send this to anyone who will be interested in this type of thing. This is very important to know within our community in order to become more knowledgeable about about the white supremacists work about the white supremacists and the work around us and how they seek to destroy everything we gain on a near constant basis. So with that said, let me get started real quick. In a long overdue exoneration of two I apologize. In a long overdue exoneration, two of the men convicted of the 1965 assassination of Malcolm X are expected to be finally have their names cleared on Thursday, more than a half century after they were accused of killing the civil rights icon. Muhammad A. Aziz, 83, and late Kahali Islam, who both spent decades in prison, are expected to have their murder convictions tossed on Thursday. A bombshell development that will be boom for critics who have for years expressed doubts over what they believe was a botched investigation. And many of those critics who mourn the loss of Malcolm X question whether a double disservice has been done when the men accused of murdering him were put behind bars and what they fear was a discriminatory rush to judgment. The new investigation was carried out by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, the Innocence Project, and the Office of Civil Rights lawyer David Sanese. Their findings revealed that the FBI and New York Police Department withheld evidence that likely would have yielded the acquittal of both men. The FBI and the New York Police Department. What does that tell you? It tells you that from the very beginning, no fucks were given. I've been telling y'all this several fucking times now. And yet, you still have these coons out here. These black loving police loving law enforcement. Hold on, let me say it in a better way. You still have these black individuals who believe in the Blue Lives Matter and the police are the good guys. Like, bro, if you take a moment and look at history and look how the police operated early on from the get-go, you'll come to a conclusion that from the very beginning, they couldn't care less about your black ass. It's really not that hard to figure out. If you just take the time to study and research and look at the data before your very eyes, you'll come to the same conclusion most brothers and sisters have on their own. And yet, you're still out here looking lost and confused and not doing anything for us except sitting there and befriending the enemy. Fucking crazy, bro. Manhattan District Attorney C.I. Vance announced the news in an interview with the New York Times. These men did not get the justice that they deserved, he said, apologizing for errors that landed the two men behind bars for decades. Now, you do realize that they probably deserve a massive settlement for this. Like they deserve like a whole lot of money. If I were them, I would sue the city. That's probably what's gonna happen. That's probably what's gonna happen. Innocence Project co-founder Barry Seck said in a statement that the infernal civil rights leader assassination was deprived of the scrupulous investigation and protection that it deserved, suggesting that the international probe produced one of the most blatant mis mis miscarriages of justice I have ever seen. Aziz and Islam, previously known as Norman 3X Butler and Thomas 15X Johnson, were released from prison in 1985 and 1987 respectively. Islam died in 2009. Efforts to unearth the truth in the decade-old murder case were complicated by the length of time they had passed and the lost documents that the articles of evidence that could be tested. Many of the cases' key players, including witnesses, lawyers, and other key suspects, died long before the probe got underway. Investigators did, however, manage to interview a living witness who goes by J.M., who corroborated Aziz's alibi. The interview bolstered the claim that Aziz, I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong, had been home caring for his wounded legs on February 22nd, 1965, when the three men opened fire in the crowded adorned ballroom, killing Malcolm X as he delivered a speech. A stash of FBI documents cited in the probe also revealed key information that pointed at other possible suspects, and prosecutors' notes said that the undercover officers had been in the ballroom at the time of the shooting, which had been disclosed, the Times reported. But the probe did not point to a particular suspect or suggest a government conspiracy to kill Malcolm X. It also didn't answer the lingering questions about who knew of the assassination plot in advance and why it was not forth by the police or government. Because they didn't give a fuck about us back then. Like, what? How you, like, come on now, that's common fucking sense. They didn't give a fuck about us back then. Especially not Malcolm. Oh, that man was stirring up a lot of trouble for them. Come on now, this ain't like it's a hard question to answer. Fucking ridiculous. In a statement Wednesday, Sani called the development both significant and long overdue, highlighting the tragic fact that Islam died years before having the chance to clear his name. These innocent men experienced the agony of decades in prison for a crime they did not commit, he said. They were robbed of their freedom in the prime of their lives and branded the killers of a towering civil rights leader. The tragic, unjust event of the past can never be erased, but exonerating these men is a righteous and well-deserved affirmation of their true character, he added. The Daily Beast has contacted two of Malcolm X's children for comment on the news. Okay. Well. It is clear to me that since both men are clearly innocent, it is clear to me that the real killers are the government themselves. I guarantee you that they had a hand in this. And I guarantee you they use these men as cover up. I mean, when you look at back then, black people were not very liked. Well, we still aren't, but back then it was worse. Like it was really bad. So the fact that were uh these men were black, see, it was because of that well, at the end of the day, the people in charge of investigating this couldn't care less if they were innocent or not. Because all they saw, they didn't see men, they didn't see human beings, they saw black. They saw black. So, and because they saw black, that was more than enough for them to throw these men under the bus. That's the honest God truth. Honest God truth. Malcolm X was a man who had power, and they were afraid of that. Hell, he had more power than Martin Luther King did. In all honesty, I'm not saying that one's better than the other. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, Malcolm, he had a lot of people's attention. He did. And if he was left alive just a little longer, things would have been, they would have been pretty crazy, if I do say so myself. And so, seeing a threat, just like they did with Martin Luther King, they decided to take him out. And take him out, they did. I understand, like, I don't get how y'all are surprised or shocked, or if anyone who is experiencing these emotions, I don't understand why this comes much of a surprise to any of y'all. Like, at the end of the day, as soon as a man, no, as soon as we start lifting ourselves up and doing right by ourselves and really getting things done, we have people like getting things done, and with people like Malcolm at our side while doing so. Right? Excuse me. Right? And so when every time that happens, the people in charge, the white supremacists, they get scared because they're scared of us. They're scared of us. They're scared of us and the power we have. Because we can get things done if we really wanted to. We're just too lazy to do so. You'd rather wait and watch it happen before doing anything about it. We refuse to really wake up. Oh, a good number of us, anyways, because I still see potential within us, but most of y'all not really doing anything to really unlock that potential. Y'all just sitting there and so focused on the right and the left that y'all don't see the bullshit happening before your very eyes. Y'all really don't. Every time that there is someone among us who who do right by us and teaches us the things we need to know, every time that happens, the people in charge, the white supremacists in charge, they fear that. And so they order the little minions to take them out. Every single fucking time. Sure, it might be different nowadays, but I guarantee you that if someone out there was really, really stirring up, not stirring up. If someone out there was really getting things done and really rallying the people and really, like, really getting us focused and everything, like walking in among the streets, right? Like doing anything they can, right? And people like flock to them, right? And that person was getting things done. in a fashion that we respected and we admired, and because of that, we looked up towards that person, and we decided to do what he do or they do, right? As soon as that happens, and as soon as that person gets enough attention from both us and the white supremacists involved, the white supremacists will then decide, well, enough is enough. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, the leader of the Black Panther, of the Black Panthers. I forgot his name for a moment, but I think his name was, what was it? Hold on one second. His name was Fred Hampton, right? So Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, right? Anyone who tries to empower us as a community, as a race, anyone who gets enough power or gets too much attention is taken out. And will be taken out. Well, granted, it might be a little different now, but I guarantee you that they'll do anything within their power to discredit them. That's like the BLM movement. You had white people telling us telling us how the problem with the BLM, telling us how the BLM, what BLM was doing wrong and stuff like that. Like, I get the flaws. I get that. Don't get me wrong. I get that. I understand why other people might have problems with BLM, especially black people. I get it. But I'll say it before I say it again. I support the message from the movement. I believe that it got so big and so wide that it's its own thing nowadays. Like, it's so widespread at this point that it's its own power. And with that said, I support that power. And so, like I was saying, you have white people telling us what's the problem with it and stuff like that, just to discredit us and discredit the movement, discredit the things we were fighting for. And this will happen every single time. It happened with the Black Panthers. It happened with Martin Luther King. It happened with Malcolm X. And it probably still happens to this. Oh yeah, it does still happen to this day. It does. You just gotta know where to look. And so, granted, this might not be new information for some of y'all, but this is definitely new to me. And because it's new to me, I just feel the need to really make y'all understand the issues and the problems we're having here, and the threat that is constantly looking over our shoulder and keeping an eye on us, right? At the end of the day, if you want justice, if you want change, if you want to do something for yourself and your people, you gotta take it. No more asking, no more begging. You take it. You get right in their faces and you tell them what's gonna happen. We did that with Derek Salvin, and we can easily do it again. We told them what was gonna happen. They didn't have a choice. He was gonna get locked up, whether they like it or not. And if he didn't, there's gonna be consequences. Same thing with Eric Adams. There's gonna be consequences. We ain't asking you. We ain't begging you. We ain't giving you the option. We are telling you. I'm done being nice about it, bro. Niceness ain't gonna get us nowhere. Ain't gonna get us so far. If you want change, you gotta do something about it yourself and make sure it's big enough to where people can ignore it and people don't have a choice except to do what you say, except to change, except to fold within themselves because we got power. We just gotta unlock it.